Alright, now for part 2 of the journal reading. June 10th, 2011. It feels odd that in a year's time my entire being has made an individual change. God, it feels weird looking back on such a thing. Hopefully, I can stay cool. But yes, I wish that the morals that I have attached oh so secretly. I think the morals I have gained are irrefutably awesome. Also, I think that these are the morals that should sway the choices uh, that I make. Thus, by adding them to my journal, I think I could remember them better. Religion should not sway my choices. Is the first one. The second one is my choices should be for that of the greater good. No form of good is the same as mine. To have effective leadership, one must have a deep partnership with that of those they work with. Groups only serve to further my fear, to tame my fears and vices so that they will not affect my virtue. Not all are good, not all are driven by a sense to do good. Meditation brings inner conflict to a screeching halt. And I still do that to this day. It's kind of weird. Women are not sinister, they just believe that they're doing the right thing. And this is my realization after a certain point when I was in flux with a girl. I couldn't really understand it, but after a while, I think I do. But that's another story, and it's not included in here. But to love others, you must love yourself. Vengeance and nemesis is the only good when it serves to help others, not harm. It also only is only good when you mean to teach others that their actions are wrong. To change your vices, you must first tackle your own fears. So, and I want to just like stop for a brief moment and say, that reminds me of a quote. To conquer fear, you must become fear. You must bask in the fear of other men. A wraith. Most men fear that of which they cannot see. Um, I think that kind of rung with what I was saying there. On to the next one. October 26, 2011. After carefully and unwittingly studying my position and goals on life, it seems that they have changed for the most part. It has come to my attention that I have lived myself increasingly on my beliefs, and so I abandoned them quickly and sought to create uh, on other people's beliefs, and sought to create my own beliefs. As a result, I have taken on a new creed. Nothing is true, everything is permitted. Yes, that is out of Assassin's Creed. And, despite the fact that I think that, I was being a little childish when I first wrote it, I've grown to have a greater appreciation for the quote. And, it is still part of my own, code, if you will put it in a certain way. While at best my efforts die to live a life of solace began to fall in line, the more I did this, the more depressed I became. Ultimately, this choice for becoming great and wealthy, to supersede society, if you will, troubled me. All of these goals for what? Money, to buy what? Expensive things, to have my family become lavish, to have soiled myself with the ills of the world. No, I said to myself, I would dedicate my life to innovation so that others may learn to benefit from my knowledge. I will be there and I shall leave my mark. I will grow as a human being to give back to which I was given. So thus I began my journey into the fray. I must say though, the real change took part when I began to work out. As my muscles gain definition, the more I am willed to use this knowledge of my own body to hone it, to forge an iron blade permanently for self-defense and self-guidance. One led to another, and I took up running. It helped a great deal. My flesh grew not stronger, but more powerful as I honed it. And I found myself staying up late because my body's adaptation to running after a certain while. That adrenaline, it just regularly increases after a certain point. And I was and then during that time I was experiencing that firsthand for the first time. So instead of you know resetting my time to be wasted, I drew on it. I drew during that time or studied. The result is almost incredible. I've learned so much, and I've and so much for me, and there's so much more for me to give. My studies also lead me to a startling conclusion. What am I doing? I was learning all of this for nothing, and capitalism at best. So I did this, as I said, and questioned everything. In questioning my existence, my life, my goals, I gained a grip on what I wanted to do: create art and share it. Maybe from my theories, my life's work in a future generation will be inspired to grow. Maybe the things I create with these hands will innovate. This is my passion, not let others abuse their world or to conquer it, but rather find new ways of experiencing something within their lives and the world. And in essence, by living, thinking, creating, I have conquered the world. That's me quoting somebody. All I have to do is imagine it, and it will be so. I have made my world complete. Where other beings have evolved with us, where lions, whales, dolphins communicate with us, understand with us. This is one of my inventions I sought to create. We force things by attaining and honing our bodies to evolve. Where we fly to the stars and share with others our discoveries, where we by then become greater than the scope of humanity. For whomever is reading this, your power is limitless. Let nothing define you, let nothing bind you, you are free. And that was between parts of that. Major changes in my life at that point were I, obtained I proclaimed myself deist. I devoted my life to innovation. I defined right and wrong based on what I felt when filtering through the thoughts of other men. I am at a record low body weight at the time. I was about 170 pounds. Incredible. And then because last year I was 225 in college. Now it's a new year. Honing and my talents and skills under this understanding what it was, developing a theory on interspecies speech, just giving it the basic rudimentary thoughts, not the scientific thoughts. This is kind of like what if. Leonardo gave a lot of what if, and I was just thinking, what if on that certain thing. I wasn't trying to make anything concrete. Um, and as far as I know, the more I've studied about it, the more I've understood. Um, and my last note here, and this one was, I've conquered my will and destruction by realizing that I am free, that I always was. And that basically meant that I wasn't bound to the problems that I had caused and the things that that surrounded my life. And because of that, I didn't have the reason to inflict pain on myself anymore. So that's part 2.